Hello and welcome everyone. So in this tutorial we are going to learn about continuous statement, which is a part of control flow that we are going to continue in this tutorial. So here why we are using continue in Java, I will say the Java continue statement is used to continue the loop. It continues the current flow of the program and skips the remaining code at the specific condition. If in case it is an inner loop, then it will continue for the inner loop only. It is not going to affect outer loop. Now let me show you the syntax of our continue and how we are going to make it. So here I have something to write syntax, and syntax that is going to be something like I am having one loop which I am starting from 1 and I am incremented till the 5 and I am going to increment it. Now let's say there is one condition. If condition I is equals to 2. If I is equals to 2, then we are going to make some condition, something like continue. So here I will say continue, and we are done with our if condition, and I will put the system.out.println and I am going to print the value of I. Now how this continue is going to work? So here whenever the I value 2 is matches, it is going to continue this program and it will jump to the next iteration, and this system.out.println is going to be skipped. So all those things I am going to explain with example. So here is example. I am iterating on loop 1 2 3 4 5. So what will happen when the condition I is equals to 3 and we have applied continue at this point? So what will happen? Value is going to iterate for 1 2, and whenever if condition is matches, this condition is matching to the 3, it will jump into the next iteration. That iteration will go 4 and then 5. So how the output is going to behave? So 1 2 4 5, 3 will be skipping, because continue is a statement, is a keyword which is going to jump into new iteration. So now let's see this into the practical. So here I am going to create one class inside source folder. We are having com.test package, and I am going to write one class name. So here I will say continue statement, and we are done with creating our class. Here I will declare one main method from where we can write the code. So here I am going to write I. So int I is equals to 1, and I want to iterate this loop only 5 times. So I is equals to I is less than equals to 5, and then I am going to put one increment operator, which is update. Here we can also use minus in case of our requirement. So let's jump into this party, and I will say if I is equals to 2. If I is equals to 2, we are going to continue statement. So here I is equals to 2, here I will write continue, and we are done with creating our continue condition. After that I will print the value, saying print the value of I after this if condition. So here system.out.println, and I am going to print the value of I. So here I am done with writing my code, and I am going to run this program. Now let's see how this is going to behave for the loop. So if you can see here, whenever I value 2 is matching, it is going to jump for the next iteration, that is 3 4 5, and value of 2 is missing. Now let me show you this in detail, how program is behaving when we are debugging this. That will make more clear concept to understand this tutorial. So now let me debug this program from here, and I am waiting my debugger to come into the line. Now my debugger has started, and if you will see that we are seeing the value properly. So here the first condition, which is starting from 1. So value of I at this point is 1. Now I will step over, and if condition is going to be false, that you can see here, and it is debugger is coming out of if condition, and it will print the value of I, which is nothing but 1. So here in the console also, or let me show you in this point, you can see the value of I is 1. Now I will jump to the next iteration, and what will happen? the value of I is going to be increased by 1 and this time value will become 2, which is true for the condition if. So whenever this statement will come, it is going to skip all this code and it will jump for the next iteration of loop. Now let's jump here, and whenever I will press one more time step over, this value is not going to print. Now let me show you in action. So here see, this value not printed, and debugger also went from here to from line number 9 to line number 5. It means continue is skipping all these statement and jumping for the next iteration. Now let me show you again, and the value of this time is I. All other value is going to print. So 4 and 5 is also going to print. Now we are done with this program here, and we can see the console, and we are expecting the correct output, which is 1345. Now hope you are clear till here. Now the next step that I am going to explain you is a continue statement with Java inner loop. So here I am having one inner loop. So let me create one inner loop. Again I will write one inner loop. This time I am going to create one variable int j is equals to 1. Now I want this j to be equals to or less than 5, means I want this loop also iterate only 5 times. Now here I am going to say j plus plus. After that we are having if condition inside this for loop. So for that, what I am going to say. So here let me remove this and I will copy. Now we are closing our curly braces. Here I will write something condition if. This condition is here, and after if I am going to say system.out.println. So here I will say system.out.println, and I am going to print the value of I, also value of something like j. Also I am going to put one more condition, that is something like I is equals to 2 and j is equals to 2. Now let me run this program and I will show you how it is going to behave. So here if you will see, whenever we are getting the value of I is equals to j and I is equals to 2 and j is equals to 2, this condition is not going to print. Now let me show you at this point. So here whenever the value was matching for the I is equals to 2 and j is equals to 2, it has been not printed. It has printed 2 and 3. Whether it should be, in case there is no statement continue, it should be 2 2. Hope you have understood for the inner loop also, and I am going to iterate this to make you more comfortable. So here I am going to start my program in a debug mode, and let's jump line by line. So I am waiting for debugger to come. That's cool, it has been started. Now for the first time I am going to iterate it. So here it is working perfectly, and this condition is false, so it is not going to jump for the continue. So here if condition fails, now what will happen? So this time the value of j is equals to 2 and value of I is equals to again 1. So again if condition will fail and we have to jump for the next iteration. So the value of j is going to continue change until the next iteration. So here what we are going to see, now the second iteration for the outer loop is going to be I is equals to 2 and j is going to iterate one time for the inner loop. So here the value of j is equals to 1. Again this time the if condition is failing and system.out.println is going to print, that we can see this time for values I is equals to 2 and j is equals to 1. So here now this is the important time that you have to observe here how it is going to behave. So now next iteration for which the value of j and I both is going to be 2. So here if you will see if condition for I and j both is true, then the debugger is going to be inside line number 8 and continue. Now let's step over and you will see if condition has been true and it is inside the if condition. Now what will happen? Observe here very clearly. Now this debugger that you can see in blue line is not going to jump for system.out.println. Now let me jump here and I will show you how things are skipping and moving into the next iteration. See, the system.out.println has been not validated this time and debugger went for the next iteration of inner loop. So for the inner loop it has bugged only. Now it is not going to affect for the outer loop and we are going to terminate this program by skipping this. So here let me step over and it is going to be continue the value. So all the value is going to print in our console and we are done with this inner loop program. Now how we can use this continue statement with the help of our while loop. So from here I am going to remove this condition and I am going to start from again. So int I is equals to 1, that is the initialization for the while loop. Now for how we are writing while loop, we are writing while keyword and inside that we are putting some value, that value is equals to boolean expression. Now I want this value to iterate only 5 times. After that I am putting some curly braces and inside that I will put if condition. So if the value of I is equals to 2. Now let's write one condition. I am going to say I plus plus and then I will say continue. Now this continue is done and after that I am going to write one more thing, printing value of I. So how we are going to print the value of I with the help of system.out.println, and here I am going to say I and again I am going to put the value of I plus plus. Now why I am putting the value of this I plus plus? Because we want this loop to work according to our condition. In case we are not putting these values, the value of I is not going to change every time and condition will be true all the time for iterating while loop and this while loop is going to be infinite. Now let me run this program and I will show you how things are behaving. So here you can see it is working as expected. When we kept 2 to validate, the continue statement worked properly and it did not print the value of I at that time. The value of I was 2. Now let me debug this and I will show you. So I am starting my debugger. Fine. Now debugger has came to my while condition and I am going to jump. So here it is increasing value by 1 and now if this time the value of I is 2, if condition is going to be true and you can see the continue statement has been executed. Now this point will not, now this statement is not going to execute. Now let's jump in and you can see clearly. So here it went to the next iteration and we are done with while program also. Now the next thing that we are going to do, continue with the help of our do while loop. So here I am going to change the value of do and here I will simply say put one condition something like do and here we are going to say while and inside while I am validating value I is equals to less than or equals to 5 and here we are going to put one semicolon because Java do while loop is called exit control loop. Now we are done with our code stuff and next step that we are going to run this program. So here you can clearly see again we are getting our output as we were expecting. So here 2 is not printed. If you want me to show this debugger, I am going to start my debugger and again it is going to. So here my debugger started and it came into the line number 12. For the do, it is always executed one condition inside do body whether the condition is true or false. Now I am going to jump for the next statement and here the value of I is going to be 2. Now this is going to inside if condition and if is going to, now here the condition is going to be if condition because you will see this is giving true and it is going to continue. Now this value will not be printed because this is how continuous statement is going to work, and next iteration is going to happen. So here the next iteration that you can see here is step over. Now you can see it has validated the value I is equals to 3. Now we are done with iterating our do while program, and after completing this program successfully, we can see in the console that 2 has been not iterated. I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. In case you are having any problem, you can comment it out in the below section. Thank you. Bye bye.